Welcome to the Not So Intellectual Podcast. We haven't been doing this for a while. Been kind of lazy on it.
Yeah.
But, as always, my beautiful co-host, Lisa, aka Ludically. Follow her on Twitter. This is our first audio podcast. This is another reason we're being lazy again. I don't feel like putting up the cameras and the lights. We're not camera ready. But we are adamant about doing this. So, ComiKaze's coming up. We're going for 3 days this time. We're going to be going starting Friday, ending on Sunday.
Yep.
What are you being again?
I'm going to be Raven and Beetlejuice.
Raven Beetlejuice.
So last year I was Raven, and this year I'm making a Beetlejuice costume. And I think I'll wear Beetlejuice twice because
Why not?
Beetlejuice. It's more comfortable.
I think I'm gonna be doing my Red Hood again for sure. And I decided to do a Sith costume. I was trying to get contacts, but unfortunately I wasn't able to get them in time. And nothing really online kind of suited me, so I'm just gonna go as a Sith apprentice. And then on the last day, I'm gonna end up dressing up as Steve Harvey, so that should be awesome. But yeah,
Gonna play Family Feud.
I'm gonna be playing Family Feud with people. Hopefully, people are gonna
Be down for
it. I'm pretty sure.
I don't see why not.
It's gonna be funny.
You have to. It's like people gonna interact with you anyway because you're dressed as Steve Harvey. You just gotta be ready for like that onslaught of like, Steve!
Yeah.
Steve
Harvey!
Steve Harvey! Family Feud!
I also wanted to walk a fine line. I didn't want to be disrespectful to Steve Harvey either. I'm not going to be putting up buck teeth or anything like that.
I mean,
that's going too far.
You don't need to. You just need that mustache.
Yeah, I just need a thicker mustache.
You gotta find that mustache. It's a difficult thing to pull off if you don't have really thick facial hair.
So, I recently tagged Lisa on a video on Facebook. I'll be putting all the things we talk about that there are videos or music, whatever. I'm gonna put in the description, but it's hilarious. We're gonna react to it. So basically, what we're seeing is a crude
when you get to
animated
the club and you hear reggaeton.
A crude animation of Ash Ketchum and Pikachu
shaking that ass,
twerking to Spanish music,
to reggaeton. They are working for it.
Oh,
the pocket position makes his butt look like boobs.
I didn't think Pikachu or Ash could shake their ass like that.
It like that. Don't Ash.
Oh my god. I can't wait to see furries at the convention. I don't think they even come out to these type of conventions, do they?
It's not like that. It's people who are just like, oh, I'm wearing my furry costume. And then there are people who just want to be that character, and it just happens to be in that direction. But the cool thing is learning finally that it's not just a sexual fetish. It's just like, hey, I am this character. So you're not if you become Groot for a convention in your cosplay, you're just like being a furry. Where they made up their own character.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit more intimate. They create their own backstory. They literally make their costume, their persona, their avatar.
Mhm. But I'm saying for the day, like for the time and moment that you are behaving as this as a character you see from some form of media is the same level as someone who made it up. Except, like you said, it's more intimate.
Yeah.
But aside from going deeper than that, on the surface level, it's pretty much the same. It's like, oh, you like these things, but you want to be that animal character? You want it to look as realistic as possible?
With the red scarf.
With the what?
With the red scarf and black boots. There you go.
Yeah.
And blue fur.
What is it? I saw some of the list and Star Fox was on there, and I'm like, oh shit. Star Fox was cool. Oh my god, if someone was dressed as that,
that'd be
I'd
crazy.
lose my shit.
Just see that big old head bobbing out.
Yeah, exactly.
Star Fox.
But they're like really good though. The way they make them, you're like, it's impressive.
It is. I like their shit. I was thinking about people dressing up last year, and I remember that there was a lot of, or at least I remember seeing one guy dressed up as a pony, My Little Pony.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it kind of waned. Like, it was more popular a few years back to do it.
Yeah.
That and people are doing ponies, but they're dressing up as like human versions. So you're just like, oh, look, a person in clothes. You don't even think about it until you look at them again. You're like, oh, you're that one. Okay. Like,
sure.
Wear the fucking pony costume already. God.
If you're gonna do a pony costume, you're gonna fucking do it right.
You
need a partner. You need a goddamn partner to beat the first half or the front half.
Oh, no, that's ridiculous.
And you be the back half.
No, just be a pony walking on your hind legs.
If you're down, you're down.
No. If you're down, you're gonna put stilts on your front legs and bend over forward like.
That would be a short ass
horse.
like pygmy, stunted growth with long ass legs.
What's a pony, Rick? A pony's a tiny horse.
Boom. Oh, God. You just blew my mind, Lisa.
My Little Pony. Ponies are little horses, man. It's supposed to be a big-ass Clydesdale just clocking around.
Sarah McLachlan.
Sarah McLachlan.
Oh, God. If I see one of those fucking commercials. They come on at the most inopportune. Yes.
You're sitting out eating dinner.
You're so distraught, you pick up the fucking plate and just heave it to the floor. Just fall on the floor and just start crying. It's not fair.
Or you're getting ready to like snuggle in the bed and you're like, I'm watching a little TV before I go to sleep. Like, fuck.
You try changing it, it comes back. It's on the Feed the Children one.
Oh. Yeah. I don't know what happened to those commercials, but I'm kind of glad they don't do them anymore.
Oh, they do. We just don't watch regular TV anymore.
No, they have the thing on and they're talking about them, but it's not as
intrusive.
It's offensive, I guess. That's the ones in the 90s.
I have a feeling. The 90s
were like,
Family Guy had
we're gonna paint honey on his child's face.
That's awesome.
I don't know. I think also people were just like, enough.
Yeah.
Enough. No, it was when that the bearded dude was on the commercials. Is when he's sitting out in the hot sun with these brown children.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm some white guy with a beard. I'm here to tell you
you need to feed these little children.
You need to feed these kids. Yeah, and you're like, okay, dude.
Ask me like if I'm all of them child support. How dare you?
But like,
that's horrible.
It's like, I got my own kids, man. Fuck off. No, that's okay. No, they're like only for 44 cents a day. I'm like, what are you feeding them? And then I talked to someone who is actually like working with the UN workers and stuff, and they're like, yeah, it's like an energy biscuit that they give people as food rations. Biscuit. So these people that live in these refugee camps, they get water, and then they get this food biscuit that has like proteins and amino acids in it. But it's in like,
stuff to sustain
it's like
them.
Soylent. Yeah. So it's like people think they're giving money and they're giving somebody like fruits and vegetables or meat. No, not even milk. They might get milk, maybe. But it's like because it has to go through the desert in a box, hiding it from rebels and other people that force these people out of their home in the first place. It's kind of hard to give them curry or like beef stew
or rice rice. People fucking riot for rice.
Yeah,
that's reality, man.
So yeah, but at the same time, it's like, oh, if you only had to
I
eat
heard,
this for 6
yeah.
months and you get it 3 times a day, it's not so bad. But like, could you imagine the health that a child would be in growing up off of these biscuits? I'm like, fuck. So yeah, I don't blame people for being like, instead of me paying 44 cents a day, I'm gonna just go get one, bring them here.
I heard it's that you're supposed to donate to the organizations themselves rather than like
the big
third party ones, like what do you call that? The Red Cross. I heard the Red Cross is very like not necessarily fair with their donations that they get.
I mean, if they are taking money in for, like, let's say for Haiti, it's a relevant issue right now.
Let me go ahead and look that up real quick.
So yeah, I think if it's like they're like, oh, we want this specifically for this situation, then yeah. But I think there are other ones. But I mean, if you care about where your donation is going, I mean, you could just do some research. It's not that fucking hard.
Yeah.
And then the research has been done for most people. You can just literally Google search which charities are giving directly to Haitians or directly to East Asians or whatever or Sri Lankan refugees or Syrian refugees. Like they're there.
Yeah.
So I don't really.
So it's the Red Cross. This is an article done by the NPR reporting that the Red Cross spent 25% of Haiti's donations on internal expenses.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Red Cross collects money to pay for itself and to pay for whatever it is. But if you're taking the money and saying, we need money to help Haiti,
then
the money that you're taking.
2010.
So that was the earthquake.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
that's almost $125 million.
Yeah, and people, I read something and they're like, oh, people are holding on, waiting to, people want to help, but they're like, kind of holding off a little because they're like, some fishy shit went down with the earthquake. We don't want to just start pouring funding in, and it's just like, I don't know, man. There needs to be more than just like, oh, I bought some socks on the internet and
I bought something red.
Added $1. I bought something red. Isn't that AIDS?
Yeah. But that's what I'm talking about.
But still, it's
I hope that those organizations
pink.
actually feed into what they're trying to represent.
Top yogurt. I think breast cancer will figure itself out. I bought a red bracelet. I think we're good. Problem solved.
Problem solved.
So yeah.
Yeah, speaking about research, the election's coming up, so me and Lisa went deep. We actually, I guess, did what you're supposed to do. I'm not sure if that's
we were
fair to say.
This election and actually researched.
We researched almost every candidate and almost every ballot.
Well, within reason. We didn't dig deep, write papers, save files, but we read.
We didn't check out who's fucking who. That's all.
Yeah,
we didn't
read
go
into
too deep.
people's credentials and what they stand for, what they're against, what bills they support, all of that stuff. But yeah, we were grown-ups this election, and we actually took it seriously.
So
because it's serious. We'll talk serious.
For the president of the United States, this whole damn election's been a goddamn fuckfest of a crazy whirlwind of calamity. We're basically trying to stop the next.
Estella La Vida.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, you're looking at the.
Yeah, I looked at their names earlier,
and
I was just like, oh,
candidate.
Okay, and I just glazed over them because I was like, I haven't heard anything about you. I'm not even gonna bother with you right now. And yeah, I'm like, okay.
We're trying to stop the second coming of Hitler, basically.
I don't know about all that.
Yeah, oh no, yeah.
I mean, you could think about it that way, but there's
the shit that he's been saying.
I mean, I just
worse.
Don't feel like the comparison is equal. I feel like we're trying to stop the coming of a problem. We're trying to stop a bigger problem that we've had. We've had problems in the past, and they've been resolved, or at least we've moved past them, and we're trying to get away from that shit. So having him here, I don't think that's gonna. Having some of the people in here will just keep the same. Make some stuff worse, but aside from
Gary
that
Johnson.
stuff,
Johnson's a fucking idiot. I'm sorry.
Let's talk about these bills that they were trying to vote for out here in California. If you don't live out here,
Triple H.
Yeah,
Triple H was trying to get passed.
So I'm on Facebook and I see a page with the article, a page that posted an article talking about Bill Triple H, and I'm like, wait, what?
The WWE's fucking got into the goddamn politics.
What?
Again.
And then we get our ballots, we look inside, and lo and behold, under page 8, you have a section that says City, Los Angeles City Special Municipal Election. And the first one says Triple H. So it wasn't a joke. So I had to read about it.
All kidding aside, though, like, it's a really good
seems like a good
ballot.
bill, though.
Yeah.
It's to help homelessness reduction and help with
prevention, housing, and...
Well, there's another bill that works hand in hand with this one, which is Triple J, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And between those two, it's to kind of help with affordable housing. And we have a big, crazy, ridiculous homeless problem in the city. And it's not just like, oh, they're lazy or, oh, they're hippies. And it's not all mentally ill people either. There's just a lot of people who can't afford to live.
No, because the cost of living here. Yeah, the cost of living here has become outrageous.
Well, it's not the cost of living as much as... Well, I mean, isn't cost of living... Doesn't that statement actually dictate how much it costs to live there, as opposed to just like an out of control inflation in the real estate market? Because that's how I look at it. I'm like, oh, they're greedy ass motherfuckers who just want top dollar for the least amount of effort. So they build a building out of paper mache and spit, and then they charge you arm and leg to live there, and you can't. And they minimize what you can and can't do in the building, and they put in amenities you will never fucking use because you'll be at work all the time paying to live in this insanely expensive box. So I don't, it's not worth it for anyone. It's just somebody's getting like $2,000 out of somebody for a 1-bedroom apartment. But I don't know, from what I've seen so far, people aren't having it. People with the money are like, no. Like, you want me to pay $2,000 in rent for a 1-bedroom apartment and I don't get a parking space in the garage? I have to rent the parking space in the garage as well?
That's fucked.
Never mind.
You see a lot of those new buildings being built over there in Glendale.
Yeah, and they're like that. With the parking garage that you have to lease.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck? The fuck? It's crazy. So we're riding through Brentwood. We're going towards Brentwood, and there's all these apartment buildings. The deck, the parking garage, you can see it through the fence. You can see inside, and there's hardly any cars. The street loaded with cars. It's ridiculous. It should be illegal. That should be illegal. Make it housing if it's that much.
That's crazy talk, Lisa. That makes too much sense.
Like, if the space has that much worth, people should be living in it.
So another thing me and Lisa kind of were at odds with, at least, was the death penalty.
I guess at first, maybe.
No,
I don't know.
I mean, I still believe. I actually believe in the death penalty. There are horrible things that people can do that I don't think should ever be forgiven. I feel like you're forgiving the person by letting them live, honestly. And let's say like the kid that killed that went in on the rampage at the children's school way back when, I think early 2008.
And killed the 5-year-olds?
No, yeah, over there in the East Coast.
Yeah, it was 2012, I think.
I feel like he should definitely die. I don't know.
They killed him.
I have no idea.
A lot of times these people are dying by the hands of the officers because they're an immediate threat. But
remember Joe, what the fuck is it? I was about to say the rope guy. I forgot his name. The dude who went on a killing spree.
Roof.
Was it Roof? Roof?
Like on the roof. Yeah.
That's the guy who went into that church.
Yeah, he's like one of the only people that I know of for sure that I guess survived getting to kill a bunch of people. But it was also, I mean, I'm black, if you don't know that, and
Of course
it's hard to not think that there's some sort of, I don't want to say conspiracy because it's a loaded word, it's a loaded phrase, but you can't, it's hard to not think that something, it's hard to not just think something or think things when you see a situation like that happen. And it's just like all those other, I think the dude who shot up the theater in Colorado, he made it to trial. But like 2 people that did shootings and like one of the past 4 ones, they were murdered on spot, on site. And it's just like, okay, so why, how did this work out? And I remember now. They let him go. Like the people at the church were like trying to talk him down. They shot him and they still like, there was some situation where it was basically like he kind of was like, okay, I did what I needed to do. And like came down, but he wasn't like in the moment, like running through the parking lot like how it was with the guy that killed those kids. Like the guy who killed the kids, he didn't live, he's dead. Yeah. And he looked like the same guy. It was weird. They both had bowl cuts.
That bowl cut, man. See that fucking bowl cut.
You fucked your kids up.
You gotta run.
They got blasted in elementary and middle school for you cutting their hair all lazy and shit. Pay $10 and get the boy's hair cut once a month. Like, goddamn. Like, help them out. You know that.
So yeah, Lisa's against the death penalty, I believe, right?
Well, I feel like there are so many people in the past who've been put to death unjustly that it isn't exactly, it doesn't solve anything, it's just vengeance. And seeing how we've heard that there's newer technology being developed into like kind of reforming people psychologically, which is controversial, because who's to say that because you think independently, you like to march by your own drum, that they wouldn't just sit you down in a chair, buzz your brain a couple of times and turn you into a different person to make you compliant. But in the case of like, you're a molester, you're a rapist, you're a murderer, if you don't die by the hands of the law, like coming in because you were running or something and actually get you in the trial, you serve your time. And then at the end of that time, if you make it through, instead of holding them in prison for life, you have them as in a part of a reformation program where they're subjected to this procedure or this therapy, which it'll probably be. It couldn't possibly be a one-time thing. And it'd be like a therapy, like electrolysis or something. But like
where do you draw the line, though? Like
with how far you. So the idea is just to basically.
Because if you take the penalty off the table, you're letting anyone live.
Yes, because killing them doesn't uncommit the crime. So that's how I see it. It's like killing them doesn't make the crime not happen again. Doesn't make it not. Well, it doesn't make it unhappen. It doesn't bring the person they murdered back. It doesn't unrape that person that was raped. It doesn't unbeat that woman who was beaten by her husband. Like, if you have a guy, he has violent tendencies, he's beat his girlfriend, he's beat other girlfriends before. There are people like this, we've read about them. Some of them are famous, and people love them for some reason. But you have someone like that, and it's like, okay, well, you've been put in jail now, and now you will be monitored by psychologists, and you will be tested by these doctors to figure out what the fuck is wrong with your head and why you're acting like this.
But and that's only like in a perfect world. We don't.
Well, I'm saying like this is what I was trying to tell you is there's stuff being developed because that's an end goal to some of the people who are paying for the funding for this type of research. The end goal is for it to be like, you suck as a person right now. Maybe something happened to you. Let's fix that thing. And then maybe you can rejoin society. But just killing someone off bat, like if you're accused of it,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can't prove that you didn't do it, and they have people who are willing to lie and say you did it.
Well, they
Then they
need
put
more than hearsay. Well,
well,
those,
that's what I'm saying. They
yeah.
can't prove that you didn't do it,
Mm-hmm.
and they have people saying you did do it,
Mm-hmm.
and they're pinning you in the situation. How do you get out of that? And if the punishment is death,
Mm-hmm.
and you're innocent, you can be put to death for something you did not do, and that has happened
yeah, I
plenty of
agree
times, and it's
that
a big
has
issue
happened.
for people of color. Like it's been historically in this country that people of color have been put to death just for not being white.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you might have stood the benefit of the doubt. They might have gotten you a better public defender. They knew that one guy was available, but they said, fuck him, he's a Negro, let's get rid of this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Or fuck him, he's Hispanic. So it's like, you know, there's even racism against other white people, and it's like, oh, he's not good, he's not like us, so we're just gonna get rid of this type of person that we don't like. So it's just like with that type of stuff, I feel like if we want to progress as a society, those are the type of things that we need to start working on. As far as, so it's just like, I guess I'm more of a progressive thinker in the sense of like, let's move towards something that would be better for us all, instead of just like, oh, clamp it down, because it's the same idea of like, to me it's the same idea of like, I was brought up where if your kid acts a certain way and they get out of hand, sometimes unfortunately spanking or beating is what follows. There are people who feel like there's never an excuse, there's never a reason, and it's like, okay, that's how you feel. But if you remain concrete on that, you're just hitting your kids to hit your kids because you think that's how you discipline. That's how I see the death penalty.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just like, there are cases. So I guess it's like the perfect world would be, this is reserved for only certain types of crimes. But as you can see by the way they've written
it's
laws
written
and the way they
black and white.
do everything,
It's either you do or you don't.
yeah, on or
So
off. So for me, because it's black and white like this, I'm like, well then off, don't do it. Because if you can't decide what crimes are worse than other ones, and which crimes actually deserve this type of punishment, then don't do it, because you can't decide, because you're not that good at figuring out if someone actually did it. Like, they're pretty good, but sometimes they're purposely not that good. Sometimes they're lazy about it.
I understand what you're saying, but I just kind of see, I mean, it's going to sound contradictory, but I feel like the system is very flawed, or at least the prison industrial complex is gone to a point where they're making profit off of people being incarcerated.
Yeah.
Right? So what's a way to make sure your profits keep coming in after, I don't know, all this legalization of marijuana? Because a lot of people who have had non-violent offenses have been let go thanks to Obama.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
No, that's not the point that you're making.
But what I'm saying is that these people are losing money.
Yeah.
And they're about making money. So what's a way to make sure that they keep some type of money coming in?
Oh, incarcerating people for dumb shit. But that's the thing. It's just like...
So if you let's say, let me play devil's advocate, because I believe that kid from Boston, the one who did the Boston bombing with his brother, I believe he's still alive.
Oh, yeah.
So there's other things that happen, let's say, in that city. A lot of people kill each other. A lot of people do horrible things that warrant the death penalty.
Yeah.
Now, once we take it off of the table, those people get to live. I don't feel like that's the right thing to do.
Okay, so him and other people like him get to live. Okay. But, I mean, yeah, I can see that, because I'm just like, I don't like that it's a black and white thing. I don't like that it's black and white either, but I just say, like, okay, well, to me, that's why it's like, oh, when you voting, you should vote for what you believe and not what someone's swaying.
Yeah.
Because you don't
We're
want to
just
feel
giving
bad.
each other's like
But yeah,
points.
So it's just like I totally understand it, but I'm just like, there's been plenty of times where I hear a story about some horrible child molester, and I'm like, man, I would have killed him if that was my child.
Exactly.
But I feel like, should it be legal to murder someone? Now, this is my fucked up ass. I'm like, yeah, you should be able to, like,
Eye for an eye type of shit.
well, when it comes to that one,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, I just that one just tops it for me. I just can't. So it's just like that one. I'm just like,
So
remember drawing and quartering? Yeah.
Yeah.
You molested a child. Drawing and quartering seems about equal. Get rid of this dude. Like, he doesn't belong here.
It's hard to say that. I mean, I don't want to sound messed up, but it's hard to say that you're not for the death penalty until something horrible happens personally to warrant that feeling.
Yeah. So it's just like, at this point, I'm like,
and that's what people are like failing to understand. I feel.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Put yourself into that person's shoes.
Yeah.
Have that loss.
But that's why I'm like, we need a. Trauma. I wish it was amended to say, like, we're gonna ban this for anything other than these things. But I mean, most of the people that go to death penalty,
yeah, there's
some
proof.
Fucked up shit.
Exactly.
Well, not always, because there's been quite a few people released from death row.
Yeah, because of DNA evidence.
And then there are so many stories. That's what I was already said. There's so many stories about just learning about my history.
Yeah.
In African Americans in this country, African descended people in this country. It's just like so many people were put to death because it was legal to just kill somebody for a crime that you felt like warranted that punishment.
It was like modern day Philippines.
So yeah, it's just like, oh, you did this thing, and there's no one to prove you didn't do it. Now, of course, the due process, that they were disregarding due process and all that stuff in a lot of cases, but I mean, it happens today still. Like, that judge got caught taking money for putting black children in
juvenile
juvenile detention. Snatching these kids away from their families for petty crimes and putting them into prison with adults sometimes. And it's just like, really, for a boat, so I mean, it's just like there's so much abuse going both ways. But I just voted based on what I thought would be something to move towards, just because I feel like, oh, this person doesn't deserve to live. So I also know. Sorry.
So speaking about the juvenile detention, Proposition 57 is something that could help in that situation. Yeah. So let me just read it real quick. Allows parolee consideration for non-violent felons. Sensitive credits for rehabilitation, good behavior, and education. Provides juvenile court judges decides whether juvenile will be prosecuted as an adult.
Well, this is to protect children from being tried as adults, because it happens really often where you have a kid that's like, let's say he's been watching cowboy movies.
Yeah.
And then he finds a gun in his dad's nightstand.
Brings it to school.
And
that actually happened,
wants
didn't
to play.
It?
Maybe.
It sounds really similar to something that happened recently.
It's very possible that it happened in the past. I mean, it's probably has happened, but
let me look that up.
Yeah, this kid goes to school with this thing and wants to play shoot 'em up and shoots his friends. Not on purpose. But he's a little kid and he thinks, yeah, whatever, I'll just shoot this gun like the guy in the movie. Except the concept of Billy won't come back is not there.
Yeah, it happened on the March 31st at elementary. It's been happening a couple of times, actually.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
In Brooklyn Elementary. A loaded gun.
Loaded guns in the house. Somewhere for the kid to find. That's really the problem there. But
so speaking about guns, there's another proposition that will help with this as well. It requires background checks. It's Proposition 63, requiring background checks for ammunition. And seeing how, let me count these. These are at least 5. I just literally wrote down kid brings gun to school 2016. There's one from Brooklyn. There's one from, let me see.
But is the gun at school as an act of malice, or is it one of those things where it's like, hey, I found the thing? Because, you know, there's a line between those two.
From August through mid-June, there were at least 269 incidents in which elementary, middle school, and high school students were caught with guns in school grounds. Mm. Not saying that this is going to help with that, but at least it would be a step in the right direction.
It also, a lot of that is due to parental flaws, I guess you could say. Because it's like, you're supposed to keep it locked. It's not supposed to be loaded. And then it's like, I think it's like you can keep it loaded, but it's in a safe. Closed safe, a locked safe.
But unfortunately, not a lot of people have common sense.
Well, people are cheap. They want a gun in their house, but they don't want to pay the, $1,000 for a safe, because they're not cheap. But, I mean, so instead you make your child pay with their life. Or your child's friends pay with their lives. But, getting pretty dark.
Yeah. So, on a lighter note, on the propositions, Prop 60. God damn it, these motherfuckers want to put condoms on adult film stars.
What is going on?
What world?
I thought they tested each other.
And they do. At least in California, they do. They're supposed to. But so I feel that maybe it should be mandatory for them to do it every time they're going to shoot a scene.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's already a thing, but it would make sense in order to help with because there was an actual STD outbreak this year, and it halted production. Don't ask me how I know that. Anyways. If you follow me on Twitter, you see that I follow a lot of porn stars.
So people were like, yo, I can't even work because all of these dirty motherfuckers out here
basically
banging everything.
So there had to be a checkup on all the stars, at least in LA, and then production started to ramp up again.
Yeah.
But I feel that this proposition is like an attack on pornography itself.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like the industry is already struggling to some degree, and then you're gonna come and tell them, hey, we know that your job is to make fantasy sex, but we want the sex to be safe. And you're like, those don't go hand in hand. There's nothing sexy about seeing a ring halfway up the shaft of a penis going in and out of an orifice.
Ooh, baby, I like it raw, goddammit. That's what we're saying.
They're writing songs about raw sex for a reason, because it's awesome. The last thing you want is to see that stupid ring, especially when it's a color.
Yeah.
It's like pink or green or
something. Some neon color
some
fucking
neon bullshit. Yeah. It's like, come on, stop. It's just like, okay, if you're a porn actor or actress and you want to get busy off the camera and everything, wrap it up, of course. But it's just like, it would be nice if they would leave that shit alone and then test your people.
Yeah.
Don't have some new girl in just because she looks hot or whatever it is. Get that bitch checked. Make
sure
she
they
not
do
burning.
though. This is the thing. I'm pretty sure that they do, and it is mandatory that they do, because I always see.
That's the legitimate shit, but
there's some stories. Yeah, of course.
It's that underground dirt shit that these people are getting burned on.
Yeah.
And it's fucked up, but it's like, and
that's what I'm saying. I think it should be a mandatory thing that every time.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like they don't want to do that.
But
either.
How do you regulate that as well? Like, you're like,
that can't be sold. They basically stop.
You have to prove that the people in this video were.
So I'm not sure if this is true, but what I've heard is that the FCC hires people
to watch
porn.
To make sure that the girl in it isn't
12 and all this other bullshit.
Yeah.
That there's no full on.
No one's getting murdered in there.
Arm in the anus cavity type of situation.
There are videos like that.
I know, but that's like online shit that you can get off of torrents and shit. Don't ask me how I know that.
I mean,
Anyways.
I thought no, they have pages. Oh, I guess you can go to the pages.
Yeah, you have to go to the pages,
look at
but
it,
in
and
order
then people
to.
buy the videos.
But that's the internet.
They
These
download them and the file, but they're not selling it in the store like Fisty McFisters.
And then they also are not based in the United States.
No.
So they can't like. In order for them to do that, they'd have to actually block it from the internet here.
Yeah, and that's not gonna happen.
And that's not gonna happen.
Just as a interjection there. If you're ever thinking about fisting, just think twice, because it doesn't look like it's a good idea.
Oh no! What I've heard from these ex-porn stars is that their colons fall out or their sphincters fall out. Prolapses. Bump.
It'll go back.
So real quick, I feel like I feel like a lot of productions right now is going to Nevada because of what's going on. Because this isn't a new thing. I remember a couple years back there was another vote on this.
Talk about it.
Yeah, and they finally got into the ballot.
Yeah.
So I feel like our economy depends on them a lot. Depends on pornography because out here it's called the porn capital of the world for a reason.
For some reason.
it's San Fernando Valley is the porn capital of the world. There's a bunch of production. There's a bunch of warehouses that tailors to adult entertainment, whether it be products, videos, everything.
Yeah. I've met people who talked to people and seen apartments that look familiar and all of that stuff. Like it's
so a big part of
common.
our big part of our economy depends on that industry. Yeah. People want to kid themselves and think, oh no,
we're pure.
We're Puritans. Oh, this other bullshit. That they're
it's like whatever. You about to go watch some big dirty booties when you get home on your laptop in the bathroom, dude. Stop tripping.
See ya. We'll see if. So no on 60, goddammit.
So
and yes on 64.
So
do you legalize weed.
Do you agree or do you believe that that's really the function for pornography? It's fantasy sex.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's an outlet. It's entertainment.
Yeah, it's sex entertainment.
Yeah.
But, it's sexual entertainment. I mean, I guess it's like, oh, you go to a strip club, watch a girl dance around, she got a nice body.
But you can't go to the strip club all the time because if you're in a relationship, your significant other can be like, no, you're not.
No.
The fuck you are.
Or even just like your budget. Or just, your psychology. Like you go to a place where you're like interacting with someone constantly. It's not good for you.
You mean if a person were to go to a strip club like
every time they felt
addicted,
like
spend their paycheck there?
Yeah. I mean, just if you're going often enough where the number of times that you go to a strip club and interact with the stripper.
If the stripper has your phone number and she texts you, you have a problem.
I mean, that doesn't mean anything. There are people who just have a relationship going on.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, in the way of
if you're
going to see, it doesn't, whether you have a specific stripper you like to see, or if you're just going to see women in general or men, whatever. But either way, it's like if you're spending more than like maybe a few hours every few months or once a month or so, if you're spending more than that and you're not interacting with other people that you're attracted to in real life, like there's an issue. Because it's the same way with people who are addicted to pornography and they're on the chat rooms and stuff like that, and it's just like, yeah, that's fun once in a while, but like, I don't know, maybe like actually talk to a person.
But a lot of these people, I mean, I'm not trying to. A lot of these people, it's a lot of these people have like social disorders or whatever, or just are really bad with interacting with women. So this is their only outlet.
Do you think that the number has increased since the internet age?
I feel like it's
people
steady.
Were forced to do it?
I feel like it's steady.
So they were just lonely dudes in the corner with some pornography they bought that they keep in their house or something.
Yeah.
Speaking of keep lonely dude pornography that they keep. So I don't know how lonely the guy really was, but he was like one of those like reclusive type of people. And I went to a friend's house. She was renting a room in this guy's house, so she was his roommate. And he's like, "Yeah, come chill out. We're chilling out with him." And we go into his study, and it's like wall to wall videos, porn, all porn.
Okay.
And like maybe, I think there was like a section of like non-pornography stuff, but it was mostly porn. It was like comic books and stuff, and I was like, "Oh my god, books!" Because I'm like, I like this. I think it's really cool to see like the drawings and stuff. Because like somebody sat here
like hentai
and painfully like just went through and like draw this situation out, and I'm like, somebody worked on this. This is cool.
Yeah, it's
it
a big.
Did he did have some hentai, but it was like there was like remember the X-Men comics and like what Rogue looked like, and she had like that flesh tone side thing.
Yeah.
And she basically looked naked. So you already know what they look like naked because of the way they drew their clothes on. So it was like that kind of drawing.
Okay.
Like that clear, that well done. Some of them were like that. Some of them were hentai where it was totally anime babes with like 3 tits, all that crazy stuff. But yeah, I'm like, interesting. This guy is super passionate about this. And I got a little nervous at first because I was like, I'm in this dude's house with this girl that I'm cool with, but we're not like long-time friends, so she could have some secrets. And I don't know these people, and there's a lot of stuff here. And it's just like, I don't know, I guess my unexposed fragile, the part of me that was still virgin to that was like, oh my god. So please don't try to do anything with me. Leave me. I just want to hang out. I'm not like that.
So you talking about the X-Men and how they used to draw their bodies like all super like skin tight stuff.
Yeah, all their suits were like wet. It looked like their suits were like they were like spandex suits that were a little bit bigger, and then they were wet, so it like had that weight. Like
so here's a I guess a personal story. As a child, I was exposed to pornography at an early age. Because of it, every time I would get like these coloring books, I specifically, like, remember this one while you were talking about it. I got this X-Men coloring book, and I was just like, kind of like, oh, this is incomplete. You're supposed to have nipples. Oh, you're supposed to have a bush as well. And I would do it with pencil. One day, we were allowed to bring our coloring books to school. And I remembered, oh yeah, I can bring my X-Men coloring book. I need to finish the coloring. So I brought it to school, and people were like, "Oh, I want to color too." And my teacher asked me if I could make copies, so that people can actually color on the right, so people can actually color. So as I opened it up, I remembered, oh shit! I opened it up. There's the whole spread of female heroines.
With their glorious
in all their glory, yeah. So I got super nervous and took to getting an eraser and just trying to erase the shit out of it real fast before anyone can see. I went on to make the copies, and you could still faintly see the markings of a bush and like areolas.
It's like, yeah, just color over it. Forget about it.
I believe that the teacher. I believe that the teacher noticed it but didn't want to say anything about it.
She was like, nobody else said anything, so I'm gonna just let this one ride out.
So yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, I found my mom's boyfriend when I was a little kid had a porn book, and he left it out one day, and that was the first time the concept of human sexuality had like really solidified for me. And it was like yeah, adults, they bump the nasties.
Mm-hmm.
Boys have penises, girls have vaginas. I got it. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like 5,
Mm-hmm.
4 or 5. I'm like, yeah, yeah. Those are things. But it was never like, this is really what it is. It wasn't like, this is a dick. It was just like, boys have wee-wees or pee-pees or penis, whatever you want to call it. Weenus. So yeah, it was just like, this is what it is. That's what it is. But the idea of what it was never made sense. It's just like, I had never even seen my own vagina yet. I just didn't, none of that was a thing. And then I see this book, and all the things are there. And when I was growing up, I had a Ken doll. Like, Ken is flat now, but Ken used to have a bulge back in the day. And Barbie had like a carving outline. She didn't have panties on. She was just like, you took your clothes off. She had no clothes. Mm-hmm. So they had the crease on her, but in the V on Barbie, the outline of what would be a vagina, and then Ken had a bulge. Mm-hmm. But no hard details, just a bulge. So it was like, even toys were kind of like, hey, this is kind of what's going on there. Mm-hmm. But it still wasn't a thing. So I see this book, woman's legs wide open, there's a hole there, and I'm like, what is that? And then I see the man, and he has this giant thing sticking out, and I'm like, oh my god, that's a penis. Mm-hmm. Whoa. So it's just like crazy, and I'm like, maybe that's why I like dick now. I don't know. It was awesome, but it just burned into my brain. Like, to this day, I still know what it looks like. And it was weird because it was like a how-to manual.
Oh, wow.
And it showed like the lady, and she was on her knees near the guy's crotch, and she like got a rag out, but it was like checkered like a picnic tablecloth. Bruh. To wipe his penis off. I guess that's what it was. But my kid mind registered as like, you know how the magician takes a handkerchief and and stuffs it into his sleeve? Like, that's what
she's gonna make his dick disappear.
Yeah, like, why is she?
That doesn't make sense. That magic doesn't make sense.
Why are they doing magic with their genitals? I don't get it. So it's just so stupid. Like, to this day, I still remember thinking, like, maybe she's doing magic. Like, I don't understand. Well, and then I get to the next panel because it's like a block by block picture how-to book. So I get down there, and his dick is in her mouth. And I'm like, whoa, okay, that's a thing adults do. And then I remember going to this little boy that I knew that I used to play with when I would go over to my grandmother's house. And I told him, like, you know, kids are just talking about shit. And for some reason, I was obsessed. Like, there were, like, all these TV shows where, like, one of the characters had a baby on TV. So I was, like, obsessed with, like, little babies and, like, ladies having babies and, like, what that would be like. And I was like, I'm gonna be a mom one day. I'm gonna have a baby. So I would, like, pretend this. I would, like, replay this scene that I would see on TV, and the lady's got the blue blanket on her. I had a blue blanket. And then this baby comes flying out. Because, you know, the comedy shows.
Yeah.
And the baby fly out. So it's like, we're doing that. We're, like, recreating this. And I was like, yeah. So we played like that. And then one day we're just sitting there talking about, like, weird shit grown-ups do. And I'm like, you know, did you know the lady sometimes will put the man's penis in her mouth?
Oh my god.
To him, just like casually, like, did you know this? And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, he thought I was lying. He was like, that's so gross. Like, he shamed me. Like, I remember being shamed by this boy. Like, that's disgusting. I can't believe you would ever say something like that. You're so nasty. Like, ill. Lisa, ill. And I bet if I found him today and asked him, so now what do you think about ladies putting their penises in their mouths?
Oh, honey.
Be like, oh, fuck. That's awesome. He's like, gross. Still gross. You pee out of there. Because he immediately went to, like, and they pee in their mouth? Like, why? I was like, I don't know why. They just do. I don't know what they're doing. Because, you know, the picture didn't illustrate, oh, and you suck it. And you're like, make it feel good with your mouth. Like, I'm a little kid. Words don't mean shit to me. Small text is even worse. Like, fuck that. I'm not even going to try to read that. And I was, like, at that age where it's like I could read, but not well enough to be like, this says this,
Mm-hmm.
and actually explain it to you. So it's just like, okay, those images said enough for me. I don't need to read anything. I got it. So yeah, I never told anybody about it. But yeah. Oh yeah, and then I have another crazy story.
What?
About drawing stuff.
Let's hear
So I had this mental image of what it would be like to be like a female goddess. Well, I guess a female god is a goddess, right?
Yeah.
So to be like a goddess or a queen. And I saw some movie and the lady had like servants and they were fanning her with the big ostrich plumes and it just looked so glamorous. And then I saw some other movie where it was a harem. So I went, you know it would be fucking awesome if I was a female queen or a goddess and I had a male harem. So I had pictures that I had drawn out of a lady laying on one of those what's it called, a chaise or something like that. That couch with the back, and then it's just kind of like it's like a lounging chair.
Okay.
Like that kind of thing, and people are feeding her grapes, and she's getting fanned and stuff, and she's all sexy dressed, and it's like fountains and shit in the background. And then I had pictures of like where that went because they had to have sex with her because she's the queen. So had drawings of that too.
How old are you?
Maybe like 12.
Really?
12 or 13.
Damn. Okay.
Is that young?
I feel like it's young, but
Really?
yeah.
It wasn't like full on like
penetration, like blah.
It wasn't like super aggressive, but it was like, okay, this is where this is going. And then I got exposed by a friend to like pornographic cartoons, but not hentai, because I really had
like the Simpsons,
like like Simpsons or Donald Duck, Minnie Mouse, those type of people. So I was like drawing that like, and so I had like a notebook with like pictures and stuff in it, and I was like I would draw these pictures and I would put them in a notebook, and I would put that notebook away. Well, one day I fucked up and left that notebook out, and my mom found it.
Oh shit!
And she made it a point to like embarrass me. She didn't like show it to other people, but she's like, "What is this? What's this?" And I'm like, I don't know. What do you want me to tell you? And I was so angry at her for like I was angry at her for her response more than just like. So I'm like, I'm sorry you found this. Like, there was no opportunity for me to be like, I'm so sorry you found this. Just know I'm not doing these things. It's inside of me, and this is how I deal with it. Because it was like, okay, I'm too young for sex. I'm not ready for sex. But sex is on my mind so much because I am hormonal. It's there. Boys smell good. I like it. Like, it's weird shit. And I'm like, I don't know how to deal. I'm going to draw pictures. It was great until she found those pictures and she just ruined it. Like she just ruined
your fantasies
it.
were dashed.
Yeah, and she didn't. It wasn't like here's your pictures back. It's like threw them in the trash or whatever she did with it. It was just like fuck. So yeah, that's how my mom crushed my dreams of being a hentai artist.
You should
just kidding.
You should try it.
That's not my dreams.
I know, but you should try it one of these days. Just like draw something.
Just draw some erotic shit.
And then like really like
go for
color it nice and shit, and then put it on Etsy. You know damn well people buy that shit.
Oh, yeah. I'll put together a whole book if I'm putting it on Etsy. I was just thinking like, I'll do some test runs, put it on Instagram.
There you go.
Just like, this is something I came up with. If you're into it, great. If you're not, just pass by it. It'll be here if you change your mind.
So, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, that's why I was like, you used to draw pussies and vaginas and boobs.
Vaginas.
Virginias. I told you about that, right?
Yeah.
Ladies, make sure you clean your Virginia.
I'm kind of freaking out about Halloween.
Why? These fucking clowns.
With these fucking clowns. I feel like people are just bored and they just want attention, or I don't know what the fuck.
It's internet craze.
Yeah, but these motherfuckers are going too far. There's been people who've gotten like slashed with knives.
Yeah, that's
people carrying guns dressed up like clowns.
Yeah.
So I feel like if they wanted to do something, if this was an organized type of thing, it would be going down on Halloween. But seeing how,
Halloween's a Monday this year, though.
yeah, but seeing how everything's like very random, I highly doubt that this is like an organized like
It's just fuckheads fucking around with their
the
fuckery.
clown's revenge on Halloween or some bullshit like that.
In the clown.
I mean, people can actually do this though. They can actually create a meme, right? And then like that, they can be like, all right, on Halloween we're gonna do a clown massacre or whatever, and then fucking just set it up, put it on online, send it on their Instagram, make a hashtag, make it popular enough for these people who dress up like clowns to actually do something for that day. I feel like I'm playing devil's advocate here.
You're also giving people ideas, dude. You're
I'm
here. What they're gonna do this.
But that's how my mind. That's how my paranoid mind works for some reason. But I know it's really far fetched. And it's like far from reality what could happen, but it's still a possibility. It's not really
that far from reality. That's how marches. That's how people get marches together. That's how people generate interest for organizations and just different interests in general. And it's like, it's not that far fetched or something like that could happen, but I always stick to my philosophy. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna just live my life and go convention. I'm gonna dress up as Beetlejuice. I'm gonna have fun.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, yeah, maybe avoid situations where you'll just be out at night walking around somewhere weird. So it's just like park closer to the venue that you're going to, walk with some people, walk with a buddy, carry some mace, be ready for some shit to pop off. But on average, when you live in a big city, people do crazy shit on Halloween anyway. Like, I was living in New York City and guys were walking around slashing girls' faces.
Yeah, I've heard
the week leading up to Halloween. So people were just terrified to go out on Halloween, and I'm like,
oh,
I already made my costume. I'm not gonna stop just because this thing is going on.
Speaking about like fuckery in New York.
It's really crazy out loud what I just said.
Yeah. Speaking about fuckery, when me and my sister went to New York a couple of years ago, it was during Easter, and there was some type of gang initiation going down on Easter that happened the past Easter, and they were doing it again this one, where they were just jacking people up and just rolling, just like they were playing the knockout game or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And
so they were just beating people in the middle of the street and then leaving them there.
Yeah, and we had no idea that this shit was going down, but thankfully nothing happened. But my aunt was just like freaking out because there was reports on the news, specifically where we were, that there was people being attacked just like randomly.
But there's also, I don't know, I lived in Bushwick, and like that's when a crazy place / show was going on. And I mean, like, it was happening on like random places throughout the city, but mostly like really densely populated areas, and they were targeting people who were alone. So it was like, okay, well, that's my daily life, walking around weird crowded places alone. So I mean, I don't know, I've been lucky enough to only have had an issue twice. I think the second time was like less, it seemed like it was going that direction, but they kind of like went away. So it was never any full confrontation. But I mean, like, I've been lucky enough to not have those types of things happen to me. But usually I just try to like stay hyper vigilant, like, and not that paranoid, like looking around all over the place and shit, but like speed up that step, you know? Me. Yeah, it's like when you look like you got somewhere to go, people don't fuck with you like that. Thanks for the background. But seriously though, I mean, at least that was my thing in New York. The one time that I for sure, I don't know what the guy was trying to do. He like jumped out of nowhere. Not nowhere. Like, I saw him coming, but it was like too Like, I registered it late, and he, like, pushed me. Like, kind of pushed me. So he knocked me back. He, like, hit me right in the chest.
What the fuck?
Like, right in the middle, and, like, knocked me back. And he was trying to grab my phone and to pull back. So it's like, I think what he was trying to do was hit me in the chest and grab my phone, but his timing sucked, and my grip was too good. And I was, like, about to start fighting, like, ready to fight him off, and I was like, right, get away. This guy might be crazy. And he reached right into the trash can and, like, broke a bottle and was like, fight me. Like, he could see, I guess he could see me, like, do the thing, like, I'll take you down. And it was like, right, get the fuck out of here, go back. Because I was on my break from work. I was working at this place at a night job. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to not come over here during my break anymore. And it was just like on 8th Street near Times Square. Like, it's a pretty busy street. There's like a pizza place and a chicken place, like, right there. There are people standing out there. And I said something to the people standing out there, and they just looked like they didn't give a fuck. Like, you know, it was weird. It was really weird to stand there and be like, you're not going to help? And they just kind of like...
Fuck that.
Like, ignored. Just, like, literally ignored with people just standing out there on the sidewalk looking at you with this crazy dude who looks like a fucking meth head trying to, like, harm you to take your phone. And I called the police and told them, like, there's a guy out here at the corner of such and such and such and such, and he's attacking people. He just hit me. He's trying to take my phone, like, all of this stuff. And he was just like, meh, whatever. And it's just like, the urgency wasn't there. It wasn't like, oh, I care. It was just like, yeah, so I mean, like, stuff like that is why I'm like, I don't know why people are so quick to be like, these people will protect us. I'm like, yeah, you didn't commit a crime yet, so they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, the city's big, there's a lot of people, crazy shit goes on all the time, and it's just like, how do we know you're not lying? You know, but at the same time, it's like, somebody call 911, it's for a reason.
Yeah.
And the craziest part was, it was like, where I was, I'm like, there's always cops out here, where are the police? There were always police officers out there, but not at that time. But it was fucking weird. It was like this perfect, convenient moment. And that was the one time that shit happened, like 100%. Like, there was like crazy people doing shit, and it was just like a guy that was with people that I was like, I think these kids are like out here trying to jump people. And we got the fuck out of there because we were like, oh, let's just leave before they do anything, because I don't feel like getting hit in the face today. So, yeah, but it's like the one time it really happened, it was that one time I was, like, walking, like, casually, like, I didn't have, basically, because I looked like I didn't have anywhere to go, somebody picked me out of the crowd. But, like, no other times, there have been people who try to stop me, and like, hey, miss, I'm gonna stop for that shit. Cause especially, like, on a busy street, because somebody could just easily just snatch you up, especially the way the streets were, the way some of the shops and some of the storefronts were in New York. Somebody could have just easily pulled you into a shop and you don't know which part, because there's like doors next to doors and they're like right there, and it's like you have some of them where it's like a shop door, the bar between the door, there's a bar, another door, and then a bar and another door. So you have 3 panels, and the far left and the far right panel is a shop door, and the one in the panel in the middle is a door that leads to a stairwell going down or up. So you have no idea where this person came from or anything. They just appear out of nowhere. So it's just like, it's easy to get snatched into somebody's apartment or basement or whatever the fuck it is in places like that. So it's just like, yeah, I walk out away from whatever's there and I walk quick. I'm like, good.
Crazy, huh?
So yeah, crazy experiences, living in crazy places, but I mean,
everywhere is a little crazy.
At the same, I was gonna say out here it's crazy too. Somebody could just pull up on you with a van and you disappear forever.
Gotcha,
bitch.
Oh man, I cannot wait for ComiKaze.
I can. I got a lot of work to do. I got a costume to finish that I got paid to do commission for, and it's not a whole lot of work left, but it's just like just enough where I'm like, oh man.
Sorry, hon. She's also working on my costume, my Sith costume.
Mm-hmm. And my Beetlejuice costume.
It's gonna be awesome, y'all.
I gotta buy a wig.
I gotta buy a mustache.
Oh yeah, let's get our wig and mustache at the same time.
Yeah, we gotta go to Party City for that
Let me get
one.
a mustache.
You're
I'm
gonna
not
get a
going
mustache.
to Party City for a wig. Sorry.
Really?
Yeah.
Where are we going?
Oh, you can go to Party City and see about that mustache.
Oh, you getting the real wig?
Yeah.
Oh,
what do
okay.
I look like walking around
what
with a Party City wig? Yeah, what kind of savage I look like? Oh, Lisa, you did such a good job on your costume sewing all that work. But your wig looks like you melted plastic straws together. No, I'm getting like a nice wig that looks like hair, real hair.
Mm.
And I want the roots to be dark and the tips to be lighter, like bleach blonde, so I can put that lime greenish tint. Not too dark, but just enough so it can look like Michael Keaton's
Joker. Joker.
Wow.
Beetlejuice. Batman.
Michael Keaton's Batman had blonde tips in his hair. You didn't see him very often with his costume on, so
he had it.
Forgive you.
He had
it.
Oh man, I have a feeling there's gonna be a shitload of Harley Quinns and Jokers.
Yeah, my goal is to get a picture with a bunch of Jokers as Beetlejuice.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I feel like I'm gonna be stopped a lot with my Sith costume.
Your Sith costume?
My Sith costume.
Sissy costume?
My fifth costume.
Maybe. Could be.
So
not.
I have a crazy conspiracy thought that's been rolling in my head.
Mm-hmm.
It has something to do with the current election. And it is something that I'm pretty sure other people have thought of, or there's been other people who have thought of this, is that Hillary Clinton somehow conspired with Donald Trump to infiltrate the Republican Party and bring it down.
But he wrote that book a long time ago. I was saying like, oh.
But it was a long. It wasn't a book.
It was an article. He made comments in an article.
So I just feel like that he would run as a Republican because Republicans are fucking dumb as shit. Yeah. Loosely, not translated, but recalled.
Either way,
I feel like even with the leaks, the email leaks that have been coming out from the DNC, it's like it kind of feels like that way, that there's something in the background, like, all right, we need her to be elected, and we're gonna give no one a choice in the matter. They fixed the primaries. Literally, they fixed the primaries, and we're letting this lady continue to be the top choice. When if they made a goddamn choice, if they opened it up to the candidates that were trying to get the what do you call it? Their party's vote, I feel like Bernie Sanders would blow everyone out the water.
But there was a somebody putting together a graph and showed like if Bernie was still in the race, Hillary's supporters would just be divided down the middle instead of the rest of us.
I highly doubt that'd be the case.
But it was also just a thing of like, it was always presented as like, you got two choices for your Republicans, like Jill Stein and these other people. Their names were like whispers.
Yeah, that's how it always is. And
no, I remember when I was younger, it was like quite a few. It was like a couple of times where that third party person was like making enough noise to actually get
both of us grew up in the time of
like there was
Ross Perot, yeah,
and then there was another person who.
So in 2008, it was Ron Paul.
And there was some saying like.
As a third party candidate.
Yeah, there were other people in the past. So there's always
been Jill Stein. It's always been what the hell's his name?
So either way, it's like there's it just didn't seem like we
Gary
had
Johnson.
much of a that's the guy. So it didn't seem like we had a lot of a choice. And it's like, even though I was like, oh man, it would be really cool if Bernie won. Just listening to people's attitudes about him, they weren't listening to his politics. They were taking surface, the buzz statements, and they're like, these are his politics. They weren't trying to hear it.
He's a communist.
And then they were also just like, oh, he's old, whatever, he's old. And I'm like, okay, when you're 70 and you're in good health, when you get to 70 and you're still in good health, and people are dismissing you because of this mentality, you're gonna think back to the situation and be like, fuck, that was fucked up. Because it's like,
not all
I don't see anybody else jumping out here to do this hard ass job, and they're not all 70-year-olds are old as fuck. There are people in their 50s who I wouldn't trust to mow the grass. They might die out in the sun. So it's like, it doesn't matter. And the thing is, it's like, I don't know. I think that's the weird thing people have in their minds too. They're superficial. They want people to look good and sexy and young, and it's like, because Obama was the youngest president, they got used to seeing a young face. It's just like, Obama's hitting
the age. Not sure if
he
was the youngest president ever. I thought JFK was the youngest president ever.
I don't know. Let's look it up.
Okay, Google. Oh man, it's not listening to me. You're gonna listen to me. Let me see.
You're gonna love me.
You got the touch. You got the power. Oh yeah, I can't sing that song.
What is that song?
It's
Roosevelt.
How old is?
He was 42 when he succeeded to presidency following McKinley.
Huh.
So he's the actual youngest, but Obama's like one of the youngest, and then he's one of the younger looking ones too. Like, he's slim. His face wasn't super wrinkly when he got in, so he was in decent condition. So it's, he didn't look like an old frumpadump.
Theodore Roosevelt. I would have thought it was JFK, but JFK is older. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
I'm Brian Fellows.
I'm Brian Fellows.
You should be Brian Fellows. Don't be Steve Harvey. Oh my
God. Next year I'm gonna be fucking Brian Fellows. I'm so down.
Brian Fellows. You don't even have everything ready for Steve Harvey yet. You still haven't tried on your jacket for me.
I'll have to put it on for you
tonight. Put it on tonight.
So yeah.
He was 48.
Who's 48?
Old Beezy.
Oh, Beezy? Breezy.
No, Breezy is Chris Brown.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, don't.
Bad comparison.
Don't. JFK is the second youngest. Bill Clinton was 45. 46, I mean. Who that?
Who that?
Grant. Grant was 46. There's a statue of Ulysses S. Grant in the middle of the street in my hometown. There's like a roundabout. He's on like a horse that's like bucking up. And there were people like, they need to take this down, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't know. You wouldn't even have known this was what it was if these people didn't want to keep it here. It's like a street called Monument Avenue that has Confederate monuments. But I'm like, it's Virginia.
Yeah.
It's part of the history.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, you want to balance it out? Erect some Black history statues and some Union history.
That's a brilliant idea.
Like, even it out, right? Not just like, oh, take it down. We don't want to see it anymore. It's just like, no, leave it up.
But then you're gonna have those people like, that's not right. You can't build those monuments and all this other bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, let them make their noise. But it's just like, we didn't take your thing down. We just added something to it. We made it share space with something else because it shares history with something else. And it's not like they did a statue with bronze slave children with chains around their necks hanging off the back of the horse. It's just like, yeah, because he's a murderer. No, he was a general in the army, and he was a president. But it's just like, yeah, this is part of history.
Grant became president?
Your list says Grant.
No way.
Am I tripping?
I don't know.
Ulysses S. Grant was elected president in 1868. Ain't crazy.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I wonder how if he like revoked any of Lincoln's or not Lincoln. Was it Lincoln?
I think Grant was before Lincoln. I don't know. You just gonna pop your knuckles
pop
in
my
there,
knuckles.
right in the
Sorry,
microphone.
people. I have a habit.
But like in the microphone. Like really?
Oh man.
Seriously.
So me and Lisa recently have been binging on Action Bronson's "Fuck That's Delicious," and we've come
Getting inspired.
Yes, and we've come to the conclusion that we are gonna fucking travel to Europe one of these days, and we shall have
We're going to
us
Spain.
a feast. We shall have us a feast of a feast.
I need to go to Barcelona.
I need to go to Barcelona. See the Barcelones.
I need to see the Barcelones.
The Barcelones.
I want to see the. I want to see the arts and the beach. I want to eat the
Pata negra. I want to try that.
What is it?
Pata negra.
Pata negra.
It is a pork, a pig's leg that is aged.
It's like dry aged.
It's dry aged. So there's this black fungus on the outside of it, which you take off before you serve, and they literally like shave slices off of this meat.
And it's like it's the meat. The pig itself was fed like normally,
Acorns.
and then like maybe like the last 6 months.
No,
of
it
its
was
life,
literally bred on acorns.
Acorns.
Yeah.
Most of the diet of mostly acorns.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've had acorn before, and it's pretty sweet and nutty. So I'm like, huh.
It turns the meat sweet, gives it a nutty flavor, and I'm like,
Sweet
oh shit, do I want to try that?
Christmas meat.
Christmas meat. Speaking about Christmas meat, I need to think about what I'm going to cook for Christmas.
Nothing. We're going to a Chinese food restaurant. Kidding.
I was thinking about doing that pork and cooking it underground. But that sounds like a lot of work.
It also sounds like
a travesty waiting to happen.
Yeah, I was going to say a big drama. But yeah, a travesty sounds more accurate. Sounds like you're going to have a big problem. You're going to have a bad time. Yeah, especially because I was thinking about like, oh, it would be cool to try to do. So I want to start exercising like I'm supposed to. And I was like, oh, what can I do to make it easier to do like high intensity workouts? One of the workouts I wanted to start doing to strengthen my legs is squat jumps and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh yeah, there's this training exercise where you dig a hole and you jump out of it.
Bruh.
And I'm like, oh yeah, that'd be cool to do. And I was like, wait, I have to figure out
you don't
where
want
the
to hit
gas
a
lines are in the back here.
line. Fuck shit up.
Just get to like 3 feet and just clink. Whole neighborhood go black.
Looks like
clink,
I should have made the left turn at Albuquerque.
And wind up exploding in the backyard because I'm out there trying to do movie martial arts training.
But yeah. Yeah. I was thinking about doing something for Halloween. Lisa ain't down, but I kind of want to do it. I want to get a Ouija board, and I want to play the Ouija board, and I want to live stream it on either Facebook or Periscope, probably both. Get multiple angles from different sources. But I've been kind of like tripping myself out because I keep seeing that goddamn Ouija.
The stupid movie.
The stupid movie's fucking pussing me out. I want to play it still, but I'm like, I I don't want to be.
I just feel like, oh, you're gonna do it, nothing's gonna happen, but then you're gonna have crazy dreams because your brain's gonna convince you
that some real shit's going down.
Yeah, something should happen. Like, that's my problem with it. It's like, I don't want to give myself bad dreams. It is a mind fuck.
It is a mind thing that you convince yourself that it's real, so you start to manifest things.
Yeah. So it's like I'm waking up losing sleep because I'm dreaming, because I
feel like a presence.
Well, it's like because I've planted a seed in my mind for something to happen, so it's gonna happen. I'm like, I used to have like incubus dreams and like crazy ass dreams. I don't need to go back to that. I used to like wake up in the middle of the night and not be able to go back to sleep. Not because I was necessarily scared, but I guess it's like I scared myself awake, and now the adrenaline has me where I can't relax anymore. So I'm like, I don't need that. I'm in my 30s. I don't need that anymore. I was a teen then. The anxiety was too much, and the next day I was no good because I didn't sleep.
So, I got a different idea. So we're gonna be watching, or at least what my idea is to watch the El Rey channel, because they're doing back-to-back scary movies, and it's gonna be us reacting to it. We're just gonna be talking shit to it. Talking shit about it.
Talking shit to the movie.
Talking shit about the movie.
Movie's feelings are hurt. Yeah. I'm about to drag it through the mud.
We're just going to be roasting 80s classic horror movies. And we're going to be live streaming it for anyone who wants to see it. Basically, that's the idea.
Sounds like what we're going to do. And we're going to eat crap food while we do it.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to make food too. That's a good idea. I'll make something small.
Okay.
Just something to eat.
I'm like, oh, we're gonna go to Church's Chicken.
Oh fuck, that's a great idea.
Give me some spicy chicken and a biscuit.
Biscuits. So yeah, this has been pretty fun. I'm gonna keep it short this time. Usually we play a game after the podcast, or that's how the game was. But like we said in the beginning of this podcast, this was just gonna be an audio version. Just something to get the wheels turning. We're gonna try to do an audio version at least every so often, just to
maybe every couple weeks.
It's
a loose commitment.
Yeah.
If we can do it more often, great. If we can't, at least every 2 weeks, twice a month, we can make it happen. So it's been real.
It's been real, people. Thanks for checking us out. Be sure to check us out on our YouTube channel. You can find us by looking up NSI Productions or Rick's Kitchen or NSI Podcast. So yeah, this is Rick.
And this is Lisa.
Saying, see you guys until next time.
See you.
Bye.